Sloane, I am a fan. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time with us.
No, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
All right, well, I'm going to hop right into it. First of all, you began playing tennis at the age of 9. You've been ranked as high as number 3 in the world and have 8 career titles. What inspired you to pursue this career of professional tennis? I mean, it is probably one of the hardest careers to pursue in the world.
Yeah, it's very tough. I started a little bit late. Only started playing tennis. My mom secretly wanted me to be a tennis player. Been able to do so many incredible things because of tennis, and I'm grateful for that. But I also know that it has its challenges.
First of all, it's just frustrating and it's very hard if you don't have a great experience starting out. And that's why I do participate in the USTA Foundation, because I want to be able to give the little brown boys and brown girls and communities the understanding of this discipline of this great sport of tennis. But what would you say to a youngster starting out, a young, just trying to really make it in the game? What would you say to them that they really need to stick to really have the joy and the fun of enjoying this game?
I would say, one, you have to enjoy it. I think once you are going just to practice and your parents are making you go and it becomes a job when you're 10, that's not fun, right? So I think enjoying the process, enjoying learning, enjoying your coaches, friends, making friends, that's something that I think is really important. And I think a lot of emphasis now is on kids being really, really good and having your kid be a child protege. And that, I think, puts a lot of pressure on the kids and it makes them fall out of love with the game. So I think just learning to love it and enjoy it. And the kids that we're not paying attention to are the ones who are actually doing really well because they don't have the pressure, right? Their parents are like, go have fun, do whatever you want to do. So I would just say, yeah, enjoy it, fall in love with it, and have fun. See where it takes you.
I have never been huge into sports, but I got to tell you, one year I went on social media and said, I think the Mavs are going to go all the way. This is my boy, Mark Cuban. And people I knew. The things they said to me on social media, I was like, man, take it easy. Now, I'm not playing it. I talked to Mark, I said, why are these people so passionate, I guess you want to say, right? He said, Daymond, a lot of these people, this is, the person they're rooting for, the other person is the absolute enemy because they don't think that you're a human being, that you have feelings. And it takes a toll. How do you deal with that? How are you bringing awareness to this?
Yeah, so last year I went to the White House and we did a whole thing on social media abuse and what that looks like. And we brought all of the intel together with the FBI and the CIA and all of the counters to just see what we could do with social media, because it's so, like you said, anyone can say anything. Anyone is completely free to say whatever they want with no repercussions, no nothing. They put a whole coalition together to basically combat gender-based violence, because that's one of the biggest things. And then the social media abuse that people go through. A lot of these athletes are very isolated, and then in turn dealing with just insane abuse, it's death threats, it's your family that they're threatening, all of these things. People have for so long just said it was okay, and it's not okay. So I think dealing with that and really being able to speak up for the people who can't speak up for their health, not only athletes but just for people in general and kids who deal with it on a daily basis, was really important for me.
But this is for everyday people too, because listen, if I got somehow bullied or had a conflict in school when I was 12, I'd go to another school. They couldn't find me. They follow you now.
Yeah.
So the reality is that the world's always going to have nasty, nasty people who aren't happy with themselves. So what advice would you give to the young adults or anybody on how to deal with this negativity, seeing you've seen it at such a high level?
Yeah, I think it's more of just learning the right balance, right? Being able to check your social media, your friends and family, and then walk away. Completely separate yourself, finding what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, there are some people who are out there that are not well. They just don't, they're mean people, they're aggressive. But I've learned that it's not my baggage to unpack. It's very much a personal thing, whether I let the bad vibes in. Being able to identify that, separate yourself, find the right balance, that's kind of the best advice I can give.
To have emotional intelligence, sometimes you have to think about it like this. If you allow everybody else's words to control you, then you're at the mercy of everybody else. You should only be in control of your words. And now, so let's talk about U.S. Open 2017. Many of us remember that match and your reaction to seeing $3.7 million check. What was it like coming into such a large sum of money after all those years of hard work at such an early age?
It was crazy. I honestly didn't even know how much you won when you won the US Open. I'd never really even looked or checked. I remember in the semifinals, I played Venus and I won my quarterfinal match and I was going to play Venus. And it was like the semifinalists got $1 million. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, I'm rich. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is so much money. And she was like, oh yeah, great. Like, keep going. Don't stop here. And I was like, okay, great. And so when I beat Venus, I was like, this is a lot more money for sure. But I was like, I'm not even going to look. I don't want to know. Like, I'm just going to keep going. And when I won the finals, I was like, man, what do I do now?
And I'm glad you did. And I know that you work with JPMorgan, and I know that, a lot of people don't realize, well, being a professional tennis player, you are your own CEO. You're an entrepreneur at the end of the day. You have a lot of expenses. You have to hire, trainer, travel, treatment. You have to hire all these people, your own team. How have you grown as a CEO, and what muscles did you have to develop to really handle yourself as a CEO? And where have you found growth, and what are you excited about in regards to running your own small business?
I feel like it's so interesting because people don't realize how much of our own expenses and travel and coaches and trainers that we have to take care of ourselves. My husband plays on a team, and literally every single thing that he does is taken care of by his team admin. Like, I am the team admin, me. So it's like, I'm probably the cheapest person on the planet. So I'm always like, okay, like, let's find the most efficient way possible to get from A to B. Everything is on me to make sure that everyone's travel, everyone's food, everyone's per diem, everyone's hotel, like, that has made me grow up fast. I could definitely run a concierge service after tennis because I feel like I am so well versed in the travel. And as my career has evolved, it's something that has just become kind of, second nature.
Well, I'm glad you did that, because a lot of people think the thing to do then is to hire a bunch of people that handle your money and handle this instead of learning it yourself, to be your own travel agent, to be all those things, so that at the end of the day, when you have, I hope you grow to have as much resources as you want, when they're doing a good job or they're doing a bad job. Because if you never learn the fundamentals of it, well, they're doing a great job, and they go, I want you to triple what you're giving me or I'm leaving, well, then you're in trouble. Or if they're doing a bad job, you don't know how to say, no, you're doing a bad job. You got to go. So in 2013, you founded the Sloane Stephens Foundation with the mission to use tennis as a vehicle to keep kids healthy, safe, and engaged in school. Why don't you tell us about the foundation and why it was so important to also include financial education as part of what you offer?
Yeah, so I founded the foundation in 2013. My passion is kids. My passion is tennis. Tennis has given me so much in my life, and I always feel like tennis is not an easy, accessible sport. I wanted to make sure that kids that look like me had the opportunity to play, but also the opportunity to keep their reading grade levels the same over summer and having summer camps. And my mom is an educator. She's a school psychologist. And in my family, education has always been number one, and tennis too. We serve about 6,000 kids a year, and counting.
Now, you partnered with Chase Community Banking on several initiatives and with your foundation. How has Chase Community helped you and your work with kids and adults?
It's been great because Chase has helped us bring our financial literacy programs to life in the community. We're in Compton, which is an underserved community, and being able to provide our families with that has been really important. Being able to help our families in every aspect, from saving to food to transportation, all of those things are extremely important. And I think with JPMorgan, we've also been able to really make community connections, which has been really good. And when they come out, they know our families, right? They're engaged. They can actually help them. And I think that's a big part of grassroots and being able to really connect with people in the community because they feel safe. And that's what our financial literacy programs have done. And it's like being able to connect on both levels through a financial literacy program has been really amazing for us.
Listen, I know how great they are. I've been working with them, I think, going on 7 or 8 years. They stepped up the first to step up during when we launched Black Entrepreneurs Day. And if you walk into the branches, they have people that look like us serving us. And they want more people like that. And that's what I love about them, because not only being a big advocate of Black Entrepreneurs Day, they have a ton of resources to help Black women entrepreneurs, one of the fastest growing segments of entrepreneurs. And I hear that you're on your own business journey and will be launching a new company next year. But I want to hear about it. From what you've learned so far, what advice do you have, especially for fellow Black women entrepreneurs and small business owners?
I would say stay the course, follow your dream, and just fulfill it, right? I think a lot of people give up, but it's like, don't give up, keep going. Like, just find another way, pivot, like do something else. And JPMorgan has a lot of resources for small business owners and especially women of color. And I think people should take advantage of the resources that they have in front of them, which is really important for people who are trying to start small businesses.
Thank you so much, Sloane, for joining us. And thank you to JPMorgan Chase for linking us up.